Today we're speaking with Jen Brown from the Engaging Educator. Could you tell us a little bit about your company and the mission you have?
Sure thing. So the Engaging Educator started with my noticing that academics, specifically museum people, needed to work with their audience a little better, needed to listen, pivot, be flexible in the moment. So these people had no desires of being on stage, no desires of being an actor, pretty much shied away from it, and really thought about their academic and their message more than anything else. And I realized in that moment that my improv training and my background in taking improv classes, training at Second City, really paying attention to those flexible teaching moments helped me be a better educator and an academic. So I started teaching improv classes for educators, non-actors, and then it just kind of exploded into going into everyone except for actors. We're very, very adamant about that no actors. It really changes the dynamic of our classes because we're focused on improv for communication skills, presentation skills, and social skills. So what that looks like is taking improv classes in the sense of going to the gym. You go to the gym, you train, you get better, you become more fit. You can't go once and be ready to wear a bikini all the time. You go and you go and you go, and it becomes part of your lifestyle. We view improv very much in this sense of you train, you learn, you're going to the gym for your brain. You're learning how to be flexible, how to be present, how to communicate better, how to lead better, how to take initiative more often. And really, improv works on this heightened reality. So you're existing on this level that seems so intense and so crazy and out of this world. And then you go into reality and you're like, oh, that's improv. That's exactly what I learned about in class last week, or this is multitasking. This is what I was really failing at in class, but this is so much easier because it's not so high energy. Our mission really is the idea that improv can be for anyone and improves everyone. Whether you're working on social skills, being able to talk to someone in a meeting, in a networking situation, even on a date, we think that people can improve with it. Or if you're working on being a better listener, connecting with a person, being empathetic, really being able to read your audience and see who's in the room and pivot on that dime and say, oh, this isn't working, they're glazing over, or oh, I need the 90-second version, I need to get them back and change my voice. That ability to read an audience is something that we really ingrain in our teaching. So that mission of improv improves everyone, and it is something you have to work on, is what we've been working on for the past 4 years in New York, LA, and now Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Great. Can you tell us how you see improv fitting into leadership development?
Absolutely. Improv is crucial to leadership because if you think about the tools and the characteristics of a great leader, you've got someone who listens, someone who empowers people to lead from within and isn't just this dictator leadership, do what I say, not as I do mentality. That's all improv. You're working together as a team. It's actually one of the common misconceptions of improv because I say it to a room and they say, oh, I'm not funny, I'm not witty, I can't be up there and make jokes. And improv is all about listening and paying attention and responding to an environment and doing it with a team. Stand-up, on the other hand, is when you're doing it on your own and making jokes. I think bad leaders are better stand-up comedians and good leaders are improvisers because stand-up is so focused, it's so contrived. You write your set beforehand, you know what you're gonna say, you're agenda-oriented. The audience could go left, you have your set written out. In improv, the audience goes left, you have to go left with them, otherwise you're left behind. You have to go with your audience, you have to go with your scene partner and the communicator that you're on stage with. And that really embodies a good leader of listening to the people around them and connecting with those people and going in their direction at the same time of maintaining the larger picture, being able to see the big picture of the company, of the mission, but also connect with the people that they're leading with and participating and growing a company with. So this idea of leadership and improv aside from that, in communication, taking initiative is a really great strategy for leaders. And in improv, there's a lot of activities where whoever speaks first wins, in a sense. You are now driving the scene, so you have to be the person to say, I'm going to speak first. I'm going to put the first premise out there. I'm not going to keep passing it back and forth and passing the buck or passing the responsibility. I have to set that first seed in motion. I can't let someone do it all the time. It has to come from me, but then it also has to be shared with my partner. They have to be able to do it and know that I'm going to support them. Improv is leadership, I think, in all the ways, but really it's that listening, communication, empathy, as well as taking initiative that contribute to great leaders.
And we're working a lot with the neuroscience department, and where we talk about things like cognitive reappraisal and empathy. How do you see, how can we use improv in bringing out that kind of research to our audiences?
Absolutely. It is improv creates such a safe space for people to watch interactions, whether you're being yourself or you're being someone else, and to comment on them. And that's really, as the engaging educator, what we embody is not just doing it for fun's sake. Doing it, we did a scene, great, we all learned something. We take it apart, we discuss it, we reflect on it. So we see how different personalities are read by the room and how it feels to be the high status versus the low status, how it feels to be the yes and, I'm contributing, I'm adding, I'm working as a team, versus the yes but, I'm listening to you, but my idea is more important. We not only give people the chance to be those different places, be in those different roles, so to speak, we also talk about it as a group of, oh, when you were doing this, I was unsure. You weren't being specific. I felt like you were negating me the entire time. I felt like you didn't take my idea and run with it. And we've had some really great moments where we've gone in this empathy manner of we're focusing on adjusting someone in the sense of to make them more cognizant of what's happening in the room, how they're perceived, how their actions, verbal, nonverbal, whole 9 yards, are seen by other people. And that's done in this space where you're not going to get criticized, but you will be more self-aware afterwards. What you're doing is called into the why place. Why are you behaving like this? It's coming across like this. Do you know that first? Yes, you know that? Great. How can you change it to get your real message across? And what's standing in your way? So really that safe space that improv creates in organizations of we can fail. It's okay. We can make a mistake. It's all right. No one's going to lose their job. We're here all learning together really lends itself to working through empathy issues, working through people being more aware of what's happening, and people really connecting with one another in a really, I would say, genuine and just present way.
Now, I know that you do a lot of helping people hear how they speak, their speaking techniques. And I know a lot of people don't really want to do improv. They might not even give it a chance because it's out of their comfort zone. But what would you say that you do to make people feel more comfortable, to make the person who doesn't want to do improv get a benefit, get the most out of the improv?
Absolutely. I would say 99% of our students don't want to do improv. Maybe they signed up because they're in our public classes, maybe they just had a relationship end, or they're getting in trouble at not speaking well at work, or they want to be a better communicator. They don't want to do improv in its traditional sense. So what we've done is really created a glossary of terms that connect with the individuals we're talking to. We generally don't use words like on stage. We talk about how it connects with life. We allow that reflective moment. We use terms that people are comfortable with. And we're really speaking the language of our audience. And I find that disarms people. They're used to hearing, if they've taken an improv class or done a team building at work, they're used to hearing, well, when I'm on stage, I do this. No one cares when you're on stage if they're a business person, unless you're talking to other actors. But if you say, when I'm talking to a colleague, or when you're talking to a colleague, it's the same thing for me because I'm on stage, I'm talking to my scene partner. But for you, it connects. And it has that connection of, oh, I have colleagues. Oh, I talk to people. So that tiny shift in language really contributes to people listening and connecting with improv when they never thought that they would. Mm-hmm. Also, it's allowing them to feel scared. It's okay. I acknowledge that right off the bat. I say to people, it's going to feel fun, it's going to feel awkward, it's going to feel weird, and it's going to be exciting. Mm-hmm. And I open every session with the idea of they'll like me, they won't. They'll like what we do, they won't. But afterwards, decide on how you feel. Because this idea of being present in improv is so important, and it speaks to everyone. Mm-hmm. Everyone's been in a moment where they haven't been present, when they're thinking about their date, their food, their dinner, what happened that morning. So that idea of being present, you've hooked them. And that's such a big part of what we believe in for everyone, that you have to find those moments that you're really present and here. And if you connect with people on that very basic level, it doesn't matter what they thought about improv before they came in. They leave going, oh, I do X. I do use a lot of ums and ahs, and I had no idea I did that. Now I know. Or I say yes, but all the time. And it's just a general, natural thing for me. Maybe I should try to say yes and.
Mm-hmm. What is your hope for a collaboration with CCL?
I love what CCL is doing because I find that people sometimes lack, and I don't mean to sound disparaging, but people lack skills of being a leader. They get put in these positions, they've done the work, they've gotten there, and they're there and they're like, ugh, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to human. I don't know how to be in this position. I've gotten here, I've done the work, but there's no book on how to do this. And there's lots of books, or there's too many books. And what CCL seems to do is really connect with individuals and work with them and provide tools for all sorts of learners. Like, you've got the learner that needs to be present in a class. You've got the learner that can look at a card and say, oh, I get it. You've got the learner that can watch a video. And the connection with the different modalities of learning is something that I love as an educator, because I know people need to do, people need to hear, people need to talk about it, people need to reflect on it, people need to think about it a few weeks later and reflect in the moment and hear the so what aspect of things and how does this apply. And I feel that both of our missions really tie into that, reaching all those different learners. Mm-hmm. And that is something that I know we so strongly believe in, because we've got people that do it, and then they have to see it again, and they have to talk about it, and they have to get a worksheet afterwards that gives a rundown of how this connects, or read a pop culture article. So we are really dedicated to reaching every single kind of learner. And what I've seen from CCL is you guys are definitely dedicated in that way too, of you're thinking about these different modalities of learning, which is really, really important, because we don't all learn the same way. We all can't read a book and learn how to lead. We all can't watch a video and figure out how to speak. We have to take bits and pieces from all these different ways.
And finally, Jen,
yes,
how do you see improv changing the world?
Oh man, I love this. Improv could be life-changing in the sense of if we just looked out for each other a little bit more, and we listened a little bit better, or affirmed one another a little bit more, instead of thinking, this is mine, I have to have this idea, I need the credit, I need to look out for myself. So often we get into the workforce after college, after grad school, after another job, and we're so suspicious and protective, and this is all of my stuff here. But improv opens up this, I'm gonna make you look good, you're gonna make me look good, so we're all gonna look good together. I'm gonna say, yes, I think that was a great idea, and we could work on it in this way, instead of, yes, that was a great idea, but I think you need to do this. I'm gonna make my opinion matter the same as someone else's. Just the improv basic rules of yes and looking out for one another are such nice life rules, like how to be a good person, and the empathy that comes from connecting with improv, of seeing like, oh, this is what it felt to be this person. I get it now. Oh, this is what I sound like when I say these words. it's just teaching you to be a better human in the end, and changing the world in the sense of if we looked out for one another and we're better humans, and not just for our own gain, but for everyone else's, we would all be better humans, because we're constantly making other people better, and we're striving to be the best, and we're having other people pushing us to be the best. And that idea of it's not just me, I'm not in this myself, is just a world-changing, life-changing moment. We could all be better if we were just more of a we than you and me.
Thank you so much.
Thank
for talking with us
you.
today.
Thank you.